Hello, welcome to Raymond Castile's Basement of Horror. This is the big Halloween giveaway announcement. We're going to talk about what we're going to give away this Halloween. So let's get right to that. We always have something vintage and something contemporary. So, here are the contemporary items. The NECA Remco-style Wolfman and Mummy. And I put this off a week or two hoping to get the Frankenstein. But like most people, I have not found the Frankenstein. I've seen online some reports that it has surfaced in the wild and that a couple people have bought it somehow, somewhere. But all the online retailers still list it as pre-order. And I don't have any way to... I've been to Target and Walmart and all the places where I might find it, where these things are for sale. And I haven't seen a Frankenstein. I've been to multiple stores. No Frankenstein. So that's too bad. I'd hoped to show you all three of them. But just know there is a Frankenstein in that set. And then the vintage choice for the giveaway. If you win, you can choose contemporary or vintage. The vintage choice is this blow molded ghost holding a jack-o'-lantern. This Halloween blow mold was produced by General Foam. It's usually listed as a 60s item, but I think it's early 70s. I saw a date of 1973, and I think that's, I could be wrong, but I think that's probably correct. I think it's an early 70s piece. And it's inspired by a girly candle, and we did an episode on girly candles. So this is a sought-after Halloween blow mold, but this particular one has some damage. The pumpkin is glued on. In its original condition, the pumpkin would have snapped on. It would have a little stem, and it would snap on. But this one's glued on, and that's a common problem with these. You see a lot of them with the pumpkin glued on, and this ghost also came with a skull. And I think there were other variations, but there was definitely a skull. So there's different versions of this ghost. So yes, it has the pumpkin glued on, but it's still desirable. Price-wise, I think it's comparable. This ghost, given that the pumpkin's glued on, is comparable dollar-wise with those two NECA figures. So those two NECA figures, with tax, they were just under $60. And I think that's roughly what this ghost blow mold is worth, given the fact that the pumpkin is glued on. I've seen this sell for $100 or more, but without the damage, without the glue, with everything intact. Okay, so here's how you... And this episode will double as an episode about these NECA figures. So we'll get into these NECA figures in a little more detail in a moment. But let's talk about the giveaway. So Friday the 28th will be the cutoff. Friday night at midnight. Friday night, midnight, will be the cutoff. Then sometime during the day, Saturday, October 29th, I will draw a winner. And I will announce the winner probably that night, Saturday night. If not, then the next day, then Sunday. And I'll print out all the contestants, everyone who enters, and put their screen name on little slips of paper, and put the paper into here, this dusty cauldron that we've used every Halloween, and then I'll draw out a winner. And hopefully I'll be in a better mood this year, because last year, when it was time for the drawing, Billy, my cat Billy, was having all kinds of health problems, and I was almost in tears. As I was shooting that video, doing the drawing, I mean, I was almost ready to just curse at the camera and bust out crying and just flip the table over and just walk away. My cat was having a rough day, and I was going to take him to the vet as soon as it opened the next morning. So I was waiting the hours through the night, not going to sleep. As soon as the vet opened, I was going to take him in. So it was under great stress that I shot that video for the actual drawing. And I think you can tell when you watch the video. But Billy has been doing better. I mean, he has his bad days. He's a special needs cat, and he always will be, probably, unfortunately. But he's doing much better now than he was a year ago. So hopefully his condition will stay positive, and I won't have a stressful time this Halloween like I did last year. I mean, all from Halloween through the Christmas holidays into New Year, it was just horrible stress. I was freaking out every day over my cat. But he's doing better now, and I wish he would come here and say hello. He's down here. He's down here somewhere. But just so you know, I mean, that was the situation last year when I did the giveaway. This year, hopefully, everything will be relaxed and comfortable and stress-free, and I'll be able to be much more cheerful, and my joy will be infectious. It will carry through the camera, and you'll have joy as well. So, to enter this contest, you have to be a subscriber. So, subscribe to this channel. You have to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and most importantly, comment on this video. That's really how you actually enter the giveaway. You have to comment on this video. If you comment on some other video or comment on the Facebook page, it doesn't count. You've got to comment on this video. So subscribe to this channel, like this video, and comment on this video. I don't care what you say. You can say hello, Merry Christmas, Happy Halloween, Happy Hanukkah. You can wish Billy well. That would be nice. I always like it when people mention my cat in the comments. You can say boo. I don't care. Say whatever you want to say. Just put a period there. That counts. And then you will be entered. But please subscribe to the channel, like the video, do those two things, and then comment on this video. Sometimes people comment on a different video and think they've entered. No, this is the one. This is the official entry video. You have to comment on this video. Okay, so now let's talk about these NECA figures. So you'll remember, I think it was the summer of 2021, NECA released a Universal Karloff Frankenstein in their Ultimates line. They're not Mego style. They don't have cloth costumes. They have sculpted on plastic costumes. And then a few months later, they released the Wolfman and Mummy. So we did an episode where we looked at the NECA Ultimates, Wolfman, Mummy, and Frankenstein. And they were available in color and black and white versions. And that's still the case. You can still buy them in the color versions or the black and white versions. NECA has released promotional images of Phantom of the Opera, A Creature from the Black Lagoon, and An Invisible Man for that series. And they've teased a Dracula, but I don't think, I might be wrong, but I don't think they've actually shown the prototype for the Dracula. I think they've just shown some accessories. But they have the license for a Lugosi Dracula, apparently. I know Super 7, in their Ultimates line, they have a Metaluna Mutant. And people have speculated that that because Super 7 is doing the Metaluna Mutant, that means NECA won't be doing it. I don't think that's necessarily true. But we'll see. NECA has not teased a mutant or a mole person. So let's take a look at these. These are the glow-in-the-dark Remco-style versions of those figures. The Mummy and the Wolfman. There's also a Frankenstein in this series. And as I'm showing these to you, I'm reading the back to see if there's anything that isn't common sense. I'll show you the back. I'll show you both these close up. But here they are. And they're cool looking. I mean, in some ways they may be cooler than the regular versions. I mean, I kind of go back and forth between liking these and not liking these. I'm of two minds about it. Okay, let's show these to you a little close up. So there's the card art, and we'll talk about that. That's inspired by vintage card art from Remco. And here's the figure. And I think you can actually see these better on this card than you can in the boxes that the standard versions come in. These are on a bubble card, and the other versions are in a box with a window, and they're kind of hard to see in that box. At least on camera they are. This, yeah, there's reflections, there's glare, but still I think you can see these better. I mean, there's not a lot of paint on his body, so there's not a lot to see. It's just kind of one solid color. And he's got that wonderful glow-in-the-dark starburst design. And here is the... Now I'm going to hold them by this bubble, but these are kind of precarious because I've seen some in the stores where the bubble is separating. These are a little too heavy for bubble carded figures. The figure itself is a little too heavy, so I don't know about the long-term viability of these bubbles. But I guess I'm holding it by the bubble. That's probably better than holding it by the card, because then I put stress on the bubble. But I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years from now most of these bubbles have fallen off, because these are pretty heavy figures. So here's the back of the card. And there are the 3 currently available characters: Wolfman, Frankenstein, Mummy. And Frankenstein is not yet widely available. Officially, I think he's still pre-order, but I've heard that he has shipped somewhere. I mean, I've seen people post, 1 or 2 photos. 1 or 2 people online have posted photos showing this, that they actually have a Frankenstein. I don't know where they got it, but I don't think, at least in any kind of, at least nationwide, he has not shipped yet. There might have been a few that trickled out somewhere. Okay, so now let's look at the Mummy. Here we go. And that's a picture of Boris Karloff as Ardith Bay on the card. So if you went beyond, well, so where that line is on his forehead, that's where his fez, the edge of his fez is. He's wearing a fez. So this is not Imhotep the Mummy. This is Ardith Bay. That's like his alter ego, his secret identity. And there's the Mummy with retro style paint application. And I do like the look of these things. I do think they're cool. We'll talk about why the card looks the way it does. I do like the look of these, but I mean, it's a borrowed look. Do I like the look of these figures, or do I like the figures they're based on? And then therefore, that's why I like these. And it's the same card back as the Wolfman. Nothing different there. So, why do these things look the way they do? Let's see what they're based on. They're based on these. These are toys that Remco released in 1981. The 3 3/4 inch mini monsters. You don't want to drop these. So there's the original. That is a Remco mini monster from 1981. You can see that the the figure and the car, they look very familiar, don't they? Yeah, this is what NECA based its new toys on. So there's the original figure. It's much more basic because the NECA one that just came out, that's a very detailed figure that was originally released as a contemporary looking, highly detailed figure with highly detailed paint, whereas the Remco originals are basic, simple figures. They're, just little children's playthings, and they're much smaller. You see that starburst design and the glow-in-the-dark logo there. But it's a different process to do this artwork. NECA used a different process. I mean, obviously, NECA used Photoshop, I'm sure. But this is... I'm not sure how this... I read a description of what this process is, what Remco did versus what NECA did, and there's a name for this. I don't know what it is, but it's a different process, and frankly, it looks better. I mean, the NECA version is just a photograph that's been treated a little bit in Photoshop to give it a stylized look, but it's basically, you can tell it's a photograph. You can see the detail there. Whereas the Remco one looks much more stylized. You can't see those little details. It's much more of an illustration than a photograph. And I think the NECA one is using solarization in Photoshop. I think, if someone's a graphic designer, they can let me know exactly what the name of these two processes are called. Remco, though, obviously did not use Photoshop in 1981. And I think that the Remco process is more labor intensive. Let's get these next to each other without dropping the Remco one. I can drop the NECA one, that's okay, but I don't want to drop the Remco. So that's what they look like side by side. And then on the back of the Remco, you can see how NECA copied the back. Not exactly, but you can see where they got their design. Now here's the Wolfman. His bubble's yellowing a little. He does not have the starburst. They did make the Wolfman with the starburst design, and they made the Mummy without the starburst design, but I don't have those variants. I only have Wolfman without the starburst and Mummy with the starburst. You can see that Wolfman is very basic in terms of how he's painted, and the sculpt is very simple. The sculpts, if you look at them really closely, they do have a fair amount of detail given the size. They're good sculpts. They're really good little serious-looking sculpts, but it's not like, it doesn't have that contemporary, how many times this episode have I said the word contemporary? It doesn't have that modern hyper detail that the NECA one has. Obviously this is a toy. This looks like a children's toy. That's what it is. made for children. And let's see if we can hold these together. I wish I had the Frankenstein to show with these things. So there they are together. And again, you can see the difference in the photographic process used on these cards. And that versus that. Is this bubble separating? Yeah, a little bit. So, you know, with vintage toys, every time you look at them, every time you handle them, it seems like they degrade a little bit. Yeah, it's just the way it is. That's why you don't handle them. I don't even look at them. I just store them away, and maybe once every few years I look at them. So, and these glow in the dark, just like those little ones I just showed you. They're, well, I know the Wolfman, his face glows in the dark. I think, though, the Mummy, the whole body glows in the dark. And I think it's the same thing with these new toys. I think the entire Mummy glows and then the Wolfman glows. So I will cut away to something I will shoot in the future. Let's see what these things look like when they glow in the dark. So I don't know what you're actually seeing at this moment. Hopefully it's something really cool. Hopefully you're seeing a wonderful shot of these toys glowing in the dark. I hope so. Wasn't that amazing? It better be. I'll shoot that later. These two toys glowing in the dark. So, how many times have I said so? I think I've said contemporary twice as many times as so, but it's close. It's close. All right. So there's so again. If you win this giveaway, you can choose to take home. You're not going to come pick it up. I'm going to ship it to you, and I pay for the shipping. You can choose these two NECA/Remco figures, not the vintage Remcos, these modern Remco NECA figures. You can choose these, or you can choose this vintage General Foam ghost holding the jack-o'-lantern. And as I said, this is actually a kind of a sought-after piece, this ghost. So if you're a vintage Halloween enthusiast, you're probably a lot more excited about this than you are these. But we already did an episode all about blow molds, and we showed you this ghost in that episode. I think that was last Halloween. I get the years mixed up now. But we did a whole episode about the blow molds, and we did an episode on the Remcos, and we did an episode on the girly candles where we showed you the little candle that this is based on. So just look at my past episodes. If you haven't watched them, go back over some of my early episodes earlier, and there's a whole lot of stuff to see there. I know with social media, it's all about your latest video. What video have you released this week? That's all anybody cares about. But I'm weird, and I really wanted this to be more of an archive, a resource where people could go back over the years, just like my Gallery of Monster Toys website, which I have not updated in 20 years, but I keep it online. I pay every month to keep that online. I don't know how great of a resource it is anymore. I think it's outdated and it's been surpassed by other websites, other sources, but I still think it's of historical value. And I think these videos I don't know if they'll be online for 20 years, but I hope if you're searching for information about monster toys that these videos, this channel, this program, Basement of Horror, will be something you might refer to, and it's not just whatever the latest video was. You might look at a video from 5 years ago and get some information. At least that's my hope. That's not how things work right now with with YouTube videos, but we'll see how things evolve. I just noticed that this Wolfman has a base. The Mummy does not. This Wolfman has a base. I'm assuming because he has that weird wolf feet kind of stance. Yeah, where he's kind of on his tiptoes. And he wouldn't stand up very well without a base. Mummy does not have a base. Mummy has no need for a base. However, Mummy does have holes in his feet. And I know that NECA is planning accessories for these things, not particularly these Remco style, but just this series in general, the color, black and white, all of these Ultimate Edition monster figures. They're planning accessories like Frankenstein lab table. I don't know if they're doing an entire lab set or just the table. I know they're doing the table, and they're doing a sarcophagus for the Mummy. I'm sure they'll do a coffin for Dracula. That seems like a no-brainer. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I'm sure they'll do that. So they're planning, I wouldn't call them play sets, but they're almost that. They're accessory sets and pretty elaborate. I don't think they've announced anything for Wolfman yet. Who knows what they might do. If those are successful, we might get an organ for the Phantom or a lab set for the Invisible Man. I don't know what they would do for the creature. I'm not sure what would make sense there. But that's kind of bold for this era. This is not really a play set or big accessory kind of an era. This, especially for adult collectibles, you don't see a whole lot of that. So it's interesting that they're committing to that. I hope they follow through. I mean, they promised us a Jaws shark this big a few years ago, and we haven't seen that yet. We've got Quint, we've got 2 versions of Hooper, but we don't have the shark. So they teased that shark quite a while ago. Maybe we'll get the shark, I don't know, we'll see. So my feelings on these, I think these are cool. I like them. They're certainly impressive when you go into a store. Target is where I bought these. When you go into Target and you see them hanging there on the peg hooks, it does make you feel like it's 1981 again. And I know that's the intent. And that's part of why I like to buy these in a store, because I think half the fun is seeing them on the shelf or on the peg hooks. and I mean, they're big, but when I was a kid, my hand was much smaller, so this seemed a lot bigger to me than it does now. Now it seems very, very small. I don't know that it seemed this big. Maybe not, but definitely this seemed much bigger when I was a child. So it makes sense in a way that that these are kind of oversized. They make a statement, though. I mean, to see them hanging on the pit hooks, they really dominate the space in the toy aisle or on the end cap. I think anyone, even if you don't know anything about Remco, you'd walk by and see these and say, "Hey, what's that?" and be interested. I don't know. If I had my druthers, I think I would have preferred a new sculpt that was more simplistic and more like the Remco figures, instead of taking the very detailed regular editions and just painting them differently and putting them on a different card. I would have rather seen a new sculpt to make them look more like the Remco figures. But then you're getting into Gentle Giant territory, where it's just like a jumbo version of the old toy, and that's a different thing. That's almost like a different genre of collectible. So I said I had mixed feelings. I am kind of critical of this trend, and it's nothing new, but it's with these kinds of toys, it's kind of new. Super 7 is especially guilty of this, and actually I'm getting kind of sick of Super 7 and how they are handling things. Super 7 has been pushing the same line of 3 3/4 inch Universal monsters for a few years now, and they just keep putting out these color variants. It's getting ridiculous, and they'll do different weird colors, and they'll do different nostalgia bait packaging. Like they'll have a Ben Cooper box style packaging, and then they'll have a different Ben Cooper box style, and then they'll have different weird colors, like I don't know, an orange mummy or something, or a yellow or green mummy or whatever. And then the latest one is illuminators, like the old the 90s neon colored model kits, the reissues of the Aurora Monster model kits, but in weird neon colors. Okay, so now they're going to do those same 3 3/4 inch figures, but in illuminator colors with box art that looks like the old illuminator boxes. And it's just it's not getting old, it got old. For me, it's reached that point where I just don't care. I mean, what are they going to come out with next? I don't know. They're just they're looking back at, okay, what are these old guys, what are they nostalgic for? These Gen Xers, what's some kind of weird product or package from their childhood or from their early adulthood that will trigger some nostalgic response? Whatever that is, let's take these same monster sculpts and just stick them in boxes or cards that resemble those old toys that they're nostalgic for. And let's do some weird color variants. And it's just getting manipulative. I feel like I'm being made a fool of at this point. I'm sorry to get all heavy here, but it's to the point where I just feel like they're playing me, and I don't want to be played. Now, I did like their Azrak Hamway creatures. They did the wide waist and the thin waist creature. Those are great. That's a great idea for a modern toy. They put them out in boxes, which is kind of weird because the A-High figures were on cards. They put them on boxes and everyone bought the boxed ones. And then they put them out on cards like they should have done in the first place. And they knew that. How can they sell those twice? Well, people want them on cards, right? But they'll buy them anyway if they're in boxes. So let's put them out in boxes and then put them out on cards. And they'll say, well, that's the way we want them in the first place. So they'll buy them twice. They'll buy them on the cards. That was deliberate. And now I think they're doing like a glow version of the same Azrak Hamway sculpts, or there's some weird variant they got coming out on those same two sculpts. Why not give us the other 4 Azrak Hamway monsters with new sculpts, not just paint variants of the same 3 3/4 inch monsters they've been pushing, but do it like the creatures and give us new sculpts that look like the Azrak Hamway figures, and put them out on cards, so we have a set of miniature replicas of the Azrak Hamway figures. That would be cool. I would be all over that. I would love that. But instead, we're getting the same figures over and over in these different weird variants, and variant colors on the figures and variants on the packaging. And now NECA, with these, NECA seems to be getting into that now. We've got color versions in the boxes, we've got black and white versions in the boxes, and now we've got these versions on cards. I wouldn't say that NECA is reaching Super 7 level obnoxiousness, but if they do one more weird variant of these, then I'm gonna call them out. Then this is fun. I like this, but if in 6 months they have like a Lincoln International version in weird colors with the Lincoln style art, or James Bama Aurora art, or some weird thing, then I'm gonna have something negative to say about that. I don't want to. I'm not going to buy the same figures again and again and again, just because a company figures out, well, how can we push a nostalgia button and put these same toys back out with a different paint scheme or a different package art. I'm not doing it anymore with Super 7, and I won't do it with NECA if they continue this stuff. So they haven't done that yet. I'm not saying these represent that. These are fun. This is fun. This is different. This is fun. I like this. But I don't want to see 3 or 4 more variants of the same figures. Then they're just milking it. And nobody makes you buy the stuff, but still it gets obnoxious when it makes me feel like someone thinks I'm a fool when they keep doing that. It gives me a negative reaction, and it's not fun. And I want this to be fun. So it's not just, oh, you don't like it, don't buy it. It's more than that. It starts to feel like you're being played, and that's not fun. Even if you don't buy it, it's not fun. It's not fun having that feeling. And I think Super 7 has reached that point, and I hope they back off on that. Like their Halloween stuff this year, their, what is it called, Bodega? Yeah, it wasn't very good. They've had some cool stuff every year, but this year it fell flat. Just retreads of old stuff, and the new stuff wasn't very interesting. I don't know what's going on there, but NECA, you've heard me say positive things about NECA. I'm a fan of NECA products and their horror and monster stuff. I like what they do and how they do it. And a lot of times when I'm criticizing other companies, I'll say, well, if NECA did this, it would be much better. I'm always holding NECA up as the standard, like, well, NECA would do it better. And they would, generally speaking. So, yeah, I'm a defender of NECA, and I like these. But I don't want to see 4, 5, 6 more variants of the same figures they've already put out. This is cool. 5 more different versions of it is not cool. So that's all I want to say about that. Okay, but these are neat, and I wish I had the Frankenstein to show you, so you'd have all 3. I don't know when I'm going to get that Frankenstein. Well, if these are if whoever wins the giveaway wants these, I don't know that I would buy 2 more for myself to replace them. I don't know that I would. I think it's cool that I've got them now. I can enjoy looking at them now, and that might be enough. I don't know if I need them to keep forever and ever. If it turns out that the winner wants these, I might say that it was okay to have them, for a couple weeks in the fall of 2022, and I'm good with that. I don't know. And then I probably wouldn't buy the Frankenstein when it came out. But if the winner takes the Ghost, then yeah, then I might buy the Frankenstein. We'll see how that all works out. But whoever wins, take whichever you want. If you want these, you got them. If you want the Ghost, you got it. Now, some people have asked me if I'm going to make the COVID puppet a giveaway item, and he's not here. I'll say, if you got your heart set on that as the giveaway, and you win, and that's what you want the COVID puppet, you can have the COVID puppet, if that's what you choose. As far as showing him on the show, I don't want to show him as a puppet on the show. I want him to exist as that character that you saw a couple episodes ago, that special effect you saw on the show. That's what he is on the show. But in your own home, he can be a puppet, if that's what you want. If you want the COVID puppet, If you don't want either of these, you want the COVID puppet, I will send you the COVID puppet. So we'll see what the winner wants. So now, just to reiterate, the giveaway, it starts now. And to enter, you have to subscribe to the channel. You have to like this video and comment on this video. Comment below. And then the Saturday before Halloween, next Saturday, I will draw a winner. So next Friday night, the 28th, midnight, Friday night, will be the cutoff. I won't accept any new entries after that. And then Saturday, the 29th, I will draw the winner. And then sometime that weekend, I will post the video of the drawing and announce the winner. And that Sunday, October 30th, is Bleak Sunday. Bleak Sunday. So we will have a selection of special videos that various YouTubers have made for your Halloween entertainment. So I will have a special video, and other channels will have special videos, and there'll be a playlist on this channel where you can see all those different videos. And I don't know yet exactly what those videos will be. We're still working on them, but I'm sure they will all be wonderful. So Sunday, October 30th, tune into this channel and you'll see a playlist, Bleak Sunday 2022, and it will have all kinds of special Halloween-y videos for you. That's it for this episode. Billy, he's on strike, I guess. I know he's down here. I hope at some point this season he'll jump up here, but can't make him do it. So hopefully you'll see him pretty soon, I hope. It's always fun when he shows up. But I guess he's holding out for more money. Got to have some contract negotiations with him. Okay, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Enter the contest. Until next time, the one who dies with the most toys is dead.